Yes, what's good? I'd go, everybody. Ladies and gents. Back for another week. You know how the thing go. Experts, solid podcast. Back for another week to give you all some sports insight and analysis. It's your boy Sanzo, Dr. Sanzo Matter. Back again, another episode with my co-host, Braylon, and the X Factor. So what's saying
Yo, what's
tonight,
going
boy?
on? Yeah, man, everything blessed. What's good?
We got a lot of big stuff to talk about this week. A lot of big stuff. So let's jump right into it, man. We got some
The week is finally here. The NFL season is finally here.
Yeah,
finally upon us,
preseason
bro.
over, so y'all know what that means.
The big game's about to start. How y'all feeling about these big games? How y'all
Well,
feeling about these teams?
the NFL does. To me, they do a great job when it comes to marketing. So week one, they got not the Patriots. Well, they got the Patriots and the Dolphins, which is obviously a rivalry, especially in the Bahamas that we have to look out for. But now I see they got week one. They got the Cowboys and the Buccaneers starting off opening night, Thursday night.
I saw that.
So you got the defending champions versus America's most popular
America's
team.
favorite.
So I guess, and I see the crowds. I not to go off course, but I watched college football all yesterday, and I was like, COVID over. Like, but I seeing like 20, 30,000 people in
Yeah,
these
but
stands, shoulder to
I,
shoulder, screaming. I was like, okay, not a mask in sight, but anyway, we'll see how the
I saw that.
NBA follows protocols.
That red, white, and blue game at Texas A&M. I know that's what you was talking about, but yeah, but they was
Wait,
flipping. They is out
not a
there, out there.
mask in sight, bro.
They
I
is
say,
flipping
wait.
living. I mean, I can't really say nothing because that is the thing tournament we had over the weekend. I already saw much mass there too. But
I
you know,
had
I
mine, wait.
had
But
mine.
the difference is over here, the mask mandate is still active. If you're talking about Florida, if the game was in Florida, there's no
But
mask
anything
mandate.
goes.
Wait,
Wait,
this was
anything goes
almost
in Florida.
any school, bro. All the Alabama them games I watch, I was like, bro, everybody shoulder to shoulder, no
Mhm.
mask. But I was like, okay, well, I mean, I love sports, but I love life. I ain't trying to. Well, they get healthcare over there. They don't have to worry about
That
PMH and
money
all
got
that.
insurance. Everybody got insurance and all that. They can still got they got away with BB.
Yeah, they
That's
ain't
what
gotta
they
worry about that.
I got nothing with
Yeah,
BB
that's a
shit,
whole
man.
different story.
Shout out
But
BB.
yeah, before before we get into week one projections, let's recap the basically the preseason um, moves. You had certain signings, certain surprises, and then you had certain
Certain releases.
releases, and it was like, hmm, hi boy, I don't know.
Let's
The
get that
biggest thing
event in
I
the room.
saw was the Cam Newton release from New England.
Yep.
Um, it's been a few days, and it's still a shocker to me because I was like, okay, if they release Cam probably had something else in the pipeline because they was basically gonna make him a backup. And I guess he was like, no man, I ain't trying to back up here. Someone else done called me. Y'all release me. We can leave on good terms. Everything cool. Boy, it looked like boy that was a dream. Because after that release, I was waiting for the breaking news. Cam Newton signed with the Cowboys or the Washington Redskins or some
I
other team
mean,
that need a
maybe,
quarterback. And no,
maybe,
he ain't never
maybe,
get it.
maybe your idea is right. Maybe he didn't have anything secure, but I'm pretty sure he had offers. He had calls to say, "Hey, we want to interview you. We want to work you out." So maybe he thought that it was a possibility. But in hindsight, maybe you should have stuck there and back up that rookie. Rookies make
Exactly,
mistakes.
because almost any team now you go to, you still gonna be a backup. Like even these young fellas producing, bro,
Every team they can go to.
you can't go to almost any team. The only team I could see him,
Yeah.
I thought he would have been able to go to and start right away. Probably would have been the Washington Redskins, and that's only because they
I
don't
think
have a star quarterback,
yeah.
and then the coach there is his former coach.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I
I don't see that happening nowhere.
I think that's an interesting situation. I mean, I think either Washington, like you say, or I looking at maybe Houston. right? Because their situation a little unstable. You don't know what happened to Deshaun Watson. You don't
Watson.
know how that could play out. And
Hmm.
then
They get
who's the backup
Tyrod
there?
Taylor though.
Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is
Yeah.
a stable, you know what I mean, stable quarterback, solid, but you could argue Cam Newton could outplay him to win the starting job if it comes to that. So I think that's an
Yeah.
interesting situation to look at. But like you said, outside of them two teams maybe, but who really could give him that job that he wants?
But even
But
bottom
what
teams got good QBs.
Washington already said that they passing on him. Ron Rivera already said they're sticking with Fitzgerald. So
Jesus Christ. Freaking
they saying
Fitzgerald.
the issues they having issues with the issues are Cam's injury history and his throwing skill. To be honest, two things that showed itself last season on the Patriots.
I don't feel he
Cam,
got a fair shake. Last season, I could be real. I've been a Patriot all my life. I've been watching the Patriots for like the past 20 years. And honestly, that was the worst offense we had in a while. Obviously, we had no tight end. We had Welker went
No,
down injury. We had no wide receiver. Everybody else was rookies or stuff like that. So it's like we didn't even have a stable running back. One week is Sonny Michelle. The next week is the rookie they
James
had.
White.
The next week is James White, and you'd be
yeah.
like, "What? Like, what's going on here, bro?" So, and
I
that was
mean,
one of the reasons, honestly,
yeah,
why Tom Brady left. Because Tom Brady was like, "But even
that's just a
though
revolving door.
like he's not at his peak, so he knows he's on a decline. But if I'm on a decline, you should be
Yeah,
doing more to help me.
yeah, you
Yeah,
have a
I
small
I
can't be
need
on a
more
window.
weapons.
decline and then you trading away all my pieces. You ain't resigning people, and you got the line getting old and half the line ready to retire. But yet you expect me to hold this team together? No, man. Let me go to Tampa Bay
Yeah,
where you get a bunch of young receivers, young linemen, young
yeah.
running back. You see what happened there?
I read an
And the thing
article
is,
that the Patriots, before Cam, the Patriots uh, touchdowns were 60% passes. That season with Cam, their touchdowns was 38% passes.
I
So
mean,
they a
Yeah,
but to
pass
be
team basically.
he did
to
run
be fair,
more touchdowns than he
yeah,
passed.
to,
But we know that's his game. Like,
yeah, to be fair to him, he did start off decent before he had COVID. Before he had COVID, I think everything went down after that.
and I think that was a part of the decision. Even though Bill came out later and said that because he's unvaccinated, that wasn't a part of his release. But I think
Mhm.
that's foolishness. At the end of the day, Bill Belichick prides himself on being prepared. Win or lose, you can never say Bill Belichick wasn't prepared. Even when we lose a game, you can never say Bill Belichick wasn't prepared.
Well,
It's just that we just didn't win. So now, if you have a QB where he always out 5 days, 7 days because of contact tracing or he and this
yeah,
and that. But if you only get 6 days to prepare till next week, and two of them days is rest days. So you got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday basically walkthroughs, and Saturday is walkthrough. You really can't miss your QB for the 5 days of the week.
yeah, use a liability. And at the end of the day, even if he say it didn't directly lead to it, I feel like indirectly it could have it probably did because look at it like this. If Cam Newton isn't missing for a portion of the preseason, Mark Jones doesn't get that many reps, right? So he doesn't get a chance to prove that he can be a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
As opposed to him getting a few reps a game if Cam Newton is there. You know what I mean? He may look good in a few reps, but that's not enough for you to say, okay, this is a good start. He may just
Yeah,
And
look good. You got,
at the time, Cam was leading the quarterback competition.
yeah, he
yeah.
was.
Phil just
And
said that was his to Lewis. Phil just said, I don't see a way I would give that to someone else but Cam Newton. But now you give the rookie a chance to really win the position, and it's like, okay, what could you do at that point? You know what I mean?
my thing is, if you look at it, I always tell people this. I played multiple sports, and I realized that football is the ultimate team sport. Baseball, you could be a one-man band. You got fellas on a team who could hit 50 home runs a year, and their team still could be last in the league. You could be a one-man band in baseball. Basketball, you could take over a game. Football, especially at the quarterback position, you have to realize that your team hinges on you. So I think Bill probably sat him down and say, bro, I really need you to get this vaccine. Not because basically your health, because we could look at Cam and say he's probably one of the most in shape guys in the league. Not just
Yeah,
quarterbacks.
he works
He's
hard
probably
off
one of
season.
the most in shape guys in the NFL.
Yeah,
The only problem
he
is
working off season.
protocol. There are rules in place that you might not have symptoms or you might not be sickly. You might not even have no traits of any pre-existing health issues. But as long as you are not vaccinated, you still got to get checked twice a week. And if anything comes up, we have to sit you. And at the end of the game, you being our quarterback, you can jeopardize our whole team on a week to week basis, and we just can't have that. And they probably say, listen, we're not asking you to get vaccinated for you. We're asking you to get vaccinated for the team. And then Cam probably says, listen, I ain't into that. And that time, Mac Jones probably rolling up his sleeve and say, yeah, I rate you, bro. I got
Yeah,
this.
you ain't into that. I got
You
something for
ain't
you.
into
You
that?
ain't into that.
All right, then.
I got something for you. So it's sad to me though, because Cam Newton is one of my favorite players in the league, and
Yeah,
I feel like that dude might be done, but like I mean, not completely done. He could always, some could always shake, but and then there's also the thought about how big of a presence his locker room presence is. So it's like could he even adapt to a backup role? Because
that's true.
a lot of dudes around the league really respect Yam, but they really respect him. And having a dude like that in your locker room, you will have some dudes who advocate for him starting.
Yep,
And the starting quarterback might not want to look over his shoulder every couple of minutes to see that but Yam Newton behind me. And
Yeah.
people want to play with him. You know what I mean? So that's a challenge in and of itself. So
yeah, that too. And then also you have to realize there are guys that have a certain aura, a certain energy. Guys like Cam Newton, from I've been watching him from Auburn days. Cam Newton is the guy on the sideline. He's always cheering. He's always jumping. He's always dancing. He's always taking pictures and throwing footballs to the fans. So that brings a certain demeanor to your team. But that as long as Cam is happy. So imagine now you don't have this guy on your team for this is second year. He done build a relationship with linemen, coaches, fans, and then now he was cheering on Mark Jones all the time while Mark Jones was doing good. But that's when you were sure you was the starter. Now when
yep,
you're not the starter, you on the sideline now with a clipboard in your hand, you down, you saying, man, they in the
yeah, it's
same
ugly.
energy. So the guys who were inspired by you and looking for you to bring that energy game to game, and you over there waving the towel and having a good time. Now when they look at you, you got the clipboard in your hand, you looking around. So it does affect the team because you're a team leader, and they feed off your energy as the guy who brings that energy. Like Ray Lewis and stuff like that, they the guys that
Yep,
fire up the team at the beginning of the game. If Ray Lewis in there, people guys will tell you, but it's a whole different energy going into the game. Like you don't even feel the same going on the field.
yep,
So
But at the
that's
end of the
exactly
day,
what it is.
I think his opportunity is gonna come this season. And unfortunately, injuries are a part of the game, and I think there's gonna be significant injuries this year as it was last year. And I think his opportunity is gonna come. Really capitalize on it? I don't know because, like you said, I mean, these other teams will have the same issues. Listen, we have 90% vaccination rate, 99%. We're not gonna bring on.
Tampa Bay just reported 100%, including Tom Brady,
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a huge issue. So he's gonna let that.
who also came out and said that he caught COVID after the parade, and
yes.
he's
I
He
mean,
chilling.
so you got so
he
you can let
he,
that.
he already has obstacles. If he's gonna let that also
Yeah,
be an obstacle that he should be able to control, then I mean, he have an uphill battle because
yeah,
he's not a big thrower. He's that dude.
No,
Goal line, you know what's gonna happen. Cam Newton
yeah,
got the ball goal line. It's so predictable. I mean, I've watched his games and I've called
and
it every single
to
time.
be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie. I feel that Mac Jones does fit better in our system. Like I said, I watched the Patriots all my life, and I know people look at Belichick. It's not Belichick. To be honest with you, Belichick actually more concerned with the defense and special teams.
Hmm.
Josh McDaniels runs that offense. Josh McDaniels is the guy that puts the scheme together. And Josh McDaniels never in his whole career had to deal with a running quarterback or a guy who rather pull the ball down and throw. Or even when he does throw, he likes to throw the deep ball. If you look at Cam always stays back and he pats the ball for at least 3 seconds before he look at his check down. That's not what Josh McDaniels like. He likes guys who make that 2-step, 3-step drop and you fire it up. Your
Gone.
check down is actually your first option. That's why with Brady, guys like Van Edelman could have eat more than guys on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So now Cam, he looking for guys on the outside.
Wow.
But what I saw in preseason, by Mark Jones, he going across the middle and he going to he running backs and slants. He like middle guys. He like now you always could sneak a
That
team
quick exit.
with play action, and you could always go deep. But that deep ball can come off deception. That ain't gonna come off. Oh, you was my number one receiver, and because you was the biggest guy like N'Keal Harry, because you 6'4", 250, oh, just run down there and put it in the air. That's not the Patriots game. Our game is 5 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, 9 yards. There ain't no 15 yards, 20 yards. But I just feel like Mac Jones honestly is a better fit. And if Belichick could trust you, this is the same guy who sat Jimmy Garoppolo. This is the same guy who sat Matt Castle. This is the same guy who sat Jacoby Brissett. So Belichick don't never give rookie no keys. The only reason Brady got the keys is because Bledsoe had to get injured. He didn't even give Brady the keys to the van. And now you got a fella who I felt, to be honest, is more ready than Trey Lance. Throwing wise. Trey Lance is a better athlete and he has better intangibles, but a pure passer,
Mm-hmm.
I watched Trey Lance. He's still even working on his spiral. He could pass the ball, but his ball still comes out loose. With a pure passer, you could see Mark Jones right now is ready to be a pure passer in the NFL.
Yeah. And then the system should fit him, like you said, the system should fit him seamlessly. Playing inside, playing inside offensive systems that work towards your talent, you'll be able to adjust and adapt quicker. So I expect him to have a good year.
And plus our system takes a lot of weight off him because number one, we are run offense now more than the past that when Brady was there. We're more a run offense now. And also so you wouldn't have that pressure as a rookie quarterback to throw 30 touchdowns and throw the ball 50 times a game. Most of the time we running the ball, power run. That's why we pick up 2 big tight ends. We power running. And then when you do drop back, we only looking for the little 5-yard, 10-yard dump off to get the first down. So I think he'll thrive because it isn't the pressure of Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't have the pressure of the guy to New Jersey with the Jets. So I feel he'll do much better because and then plus you ain't even got the pressure Cam there no more. Your backup is Brian Hoyer, and he been the backup for about 4 years and never touched the field. So it's like you ain't even got no pressure, bro.
So they basically
have to stay healthy
after you had a successful preseason. So I feel good about him and confidence play. Confidence in the green light. That's one of the biggest struggles in sports history. But once you get that, you could do almost anything, boy. You could do almost anything.
All they asking him to do is not turn over the ball, and that was Cam's issue. Even when he ran the ball, he fumbled it a lot.
Yeah.
So he throwing interceptions. You're not throwing touchdowns. Then you're running. You're fumbling the ball. You're getting injured, and you're catching COVID. Man, come on.
And you're saying go to the vaccine.
Yeah, come on, bro, man. You got this young fella in here who ain't turning over the ball, who handing the ball off, and he get a vaccine. Man, bro. And on top of that, when we had Cam last year, we got him for like a veteran minimum. This year, we actually gave him a pay raise. We gave Cam $14 million this year. And you can tell us you ain't taking a vaccine for the team? Okay, then. Good thing we ain't give you no game. He ain't get week 1 check yet.
But I know. But
no NFL contracts will be fully guaranteed.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to play a certain amount of snaps. You got to make the roster. They have what they call it, roster bonuses. He ain't even make the roster, so he might not even get a bonus.
Yep.
What?
Yep. Well, Only, like I said, the only thing I feel is if he could do is just wait and see how this Texan situation plays out. I see that as the only probably fit for him right now. As a starting quarterback. Otherwise, I don't see him as a starter nowhere else.
As I mean, and their system, Watson is a similar, has a similar style to him. So maybe he should be one of the first people they look at.
I
Yeah,
mean, hold
That
on
that
now.
that Watson.
Let's
You
not
disagree?
forget that before this whole thing that they did with him, Watson did lead the league in passing yards his last season.
yeah,
Watson,
Passing yards. So he
right?
does have the intangibles to run and score with his legs, but he still
Yeah,
outthrows the
yeah.
best quarterbacks in the league, which
Listen,
Cam cannot do.
no,
no,
Cam is no Watson. That's that
yeah.
was not.
Not
The,
I
anymore.
the,
wasn't trying to say
the
that,
only hope
but
that
not
you
even
could have
never.
with
Cam
Cam,
has never been a passer like Watson. Passer like
well, I
Watson.
mean,
Watch one season.
he had, one
One
season
season he wild out.
like 2 years
He
ago,
wild
two
out in
years ago, he
2015,
had
man.
he
Stop
had a
with that. I'm going to throw a bunch
no
of time
But
at
that
2015
you.
was
he
his
was
MVP.
dominating
Yeah,
with the run.
Yeah, that was his MVP, yeah.
Yeah, he was dominating with the run in 2015. But I think like 2 3 seasons ago, he had like a career high in completion percentage, and it was just a lot of injuries from there on out. So it's almost like when he had that good spurt, he never really could have stayed healthy. And
Yeah,
now you add in the COVID situation, it makes it even worse.
yeah,
And
exactly.
also because he's a running quarterback, you also have to reasonably flipping wonder by how long could this boy stay healthy?
it's
Because
another thing.
I mean, his legs going a lot quicker than a guy like Brady on. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
how much miles he just put on it.
Yeah,
So
his been no shorter than Rich Carter.
his window was a lot shorter. You know what I mean? So
Speaking of Brady, I don't know if y'all caught the segment earlier this week or this weekend when Brady said he doesn't agree with the way the NFL officiates QBs and the offense. He said they penalize defensive players for offensive mistakes.
I heard that. He
yeah,
And everybody was shocked because
he was
everybody is
defending the
like, if it's
defense.
one person you can't touch in the league, it's Tom Brady. Like you missing roll passes leg, that's 15-yard penalty. So everybody was shocked, but it shows that even though, like Belichick say, it's not my fault that you have loopholes in your rules. So if I exploit your loopholes, it's not my fault. It's your fault that you have loopholes. You need to tie your loopholes up. So it shows that Tom Brady understands that the game does favor the offense, but he still is not that type of guy who can say, "Oh, well, I like it that way." He still said,
yeah,
"Listen, I really believe that we're not putting our best product on the field. Like the old
but
NFL was better."
yeah, the greats they know how to adjust and adapt, and at the same time they could be real with the fact that certain things are the way they are. I mean, it's similar when you see to the NBA when people say, "Oh, the NBA was more physical back in the day." That doesn't
Hmm.
mean that I wouldn't be doing the same thing I doing, but it just means I just speaking from the heart, I speaking truth. The greats will always adapt to, you know what I mean? And
and that,
Brady is an
and that
example of that.
adds and that usually adds to their longevity. You know what I mean? Like it's usually those people who can adapt to the rules and who can adapt to the culture is the ones who have the longest careers.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
the good, like I say, it was surprising to see that him himself came out and said that, not a report or not an agent said or someone close to Tom Brady said. It was good to see that Tom Brady said it. And
And
then
he
on
in
the
the
NBA side, that's different because we have a so-called great in the NBA who says that, oh, um, I can dominate any era, but we know better. Fella, fellas brushed past each and he was on the floor. Remember last playoff and he's doing the I think the boy must see him and yeah, he's on the floor
Uh,
and he's
uh,
like
Memphis
he's like
Grizzlies. Yeah.
I was like,
But
what?
no, you know what? That goes back to my point: the longevity of it all. Players like that learn how to take advantage of the system,
Yeah.
and they are rewarded with longer careers.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
let's be
you have
real.
to be smart.
It,
You have to
We
be
know what
smart.
that particular player does. We know he don't have to do it. But at the end
it's
of
a
the day,
chess match.
Yeah, in
It's
his
a chess
eyes,
match.
he feel
He says
he's
that.
doing the right thing for his team in his eyes.
Yeah,
but
it's
to
a
answer
chess
the
match.
question for the comment, to answer the question for the comment, did the Patriots make the right decision in terms of
I ain't
QB?
call no name, but Odon. I ain't call no name, bro.
I think it's a
He just made the
consensus
right
we
decision.
all agree. I think we
Yeah,
agree the
I
Patriots
think they,
did make the right decision.
yeah, they made the right decision.
Yeah,
It was a sad decision for me because I like Cam a lot, but they made the
Right.
right decision based off the events that happened. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
and
you got to go with the person who, if he younger and he fit the system a lot better, that's a no brainer in any sport, in any
Hmm.
and
sport across the board.
I feel they made the right decision short term and long term. Because in short term, people can probably he probably might have a bad game. He might even have a bad week one game, and people might start roasting him. But you can't worry about the critics. These are the same critics who, when Tom Brady had a bad game against the Kansas City Chiefs like 3, 4 seasons ago, and they roast Tom Brady. I think he threw like 4 interceptions, and they was like, "Oh, he's heading off a cliff. He should retire. He should this. He should that." By the end of the season, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. So
That's
he
a
has.
fact.
I feel like if he has to go through a fiery pit, now would be the time. If he
Yeah,
goes
man.
to the
Still while
Dolphins,
he
if
young.
he goes down to the Dolphins right now, and you know the Dolphins have a old defensive coordinator, so he might put together a good scheme, and they might lock Mark Jones down and punch his head off. But if he have to get his head punch off, I rather it be week 1, 2, and 3 than week 13, 14, and 15.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So what y'all think? Some interesting teams to watch in the NFL this year. What y'all think? Some interesting storylines to get into.
One of the most interesting for me is the Washington football team because um, I've been a person who's been riding Ryan Fitzgerald for some time now in fantasy. And, he always has those 3, 4, 5 magical games where, he looked like a goat. And then we all know it's kind of like he can't do it, but it's more, an insanity thing. So now he has his
Right.
own team, and it's a pretty good team, especially defensively. So people are saying they need to watch him and see if he can actually carry a team, or it's just because he's a backup QB playing good on a system that he gets those 1, 2, 3 games. So I really looking for. I did draft him. Yes, I did. I'm really looking forward to seeing if he could carry his team. That's that was my big risk. Every draft I had to take a big risk, and I took it on him just to see if
Oh
Fitz
boy,
Magic could last the whole season for once.
the fact that you
Like
can't even
he,
remember his name and you call the man Fitzgerald instead of Fitzpatrick should let you know
I,
that
my
he's not that
I
guy.
just called him
He's
Fitzpatrick for the
not that
funnies.
guy, buddy.
No, he's not.
He's not that
Okay,
guy.
here's my point. He hasn't been. He hasn't been that guy ever.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of hoping that this is his time to show that he is that guy. I mean,
at,
it wouldn't be
at
a risk if it
37,
was.
he
It wouldn't be a risk if it was someone that I knew was good. Would it? Like I wouldn't be taking a risk on Russell Wilson. It's a risk for a reason. It's Fitzpatrick. So
right.
that's
Every year, I must say that dude when he has an opportunity,
he's turned it
he's
into
turned into his
magic.
insanity career.
He's turned it into
Like
magic.
he got a 5, 6 game stretch where
Yeah.
he looked like Brian Baden Manning, and then the
see,
next
wait.
the rest of the games he's looking like he belongs to the league.
Right. Exactly. So.
But it
Uh,
usually comes at a situation where he's a backup
Hmm.
or he's in temporarily like, okay, you already at week 6. Your QB gone now for 3, 4 weeks. You got 4 weeks to shine. And then once this QB come back, you back on the bench. But when
Hmm.
he on a team where he's the clear number one and you got him starting week 1 for the whole season,
Yeah.
boy,
yeah,
He's
I see.
I
That's
he's
when you could
trash. I
scheme
agree.
them properly. You know what I mean? You could construct your game plan around stopping him.
exactly.
When he inserted midseason, it's almost like okay, like all right, what does Play could do? You know what I mean? What he really could do. especially when you test it. It all depends too on the temperature of the season too. He had some seasons with the Dolphins, and I mean throwaway seasons, really and truly. It wasn't really winning no games like that. So the team you want, it depends as well.
He's more like that where he has that 6 man vibe to him, like in the NBA, like where I guess certain guys like Jamal Crawford, even going back to guys like Ben Gordon, like when the actual starting shooting guard go down, these guys could play 40 minutes a
Yeah.
game and give you like 8 points, 9 points. But then the starter comes back and he comes off the bench and dog only playing like 20 minutes a game. He give
35.
you 28 with 9 assists. And you be like, how is that logical?
Yeah.
It's a
How
mental
when I
thing.
let you play the whole game, you
Yeah.
can't produce.
Yeah.
But when I cut your minutes in half, you wild right out.
Yeah.
You
I
coming in the
think
game.
Jamal.
You coming in the game. Lou Williams is a good example. You coming in the game,
Mhm.
and it's like 4 minutes left in the second quarter, something like that. You know what I mean? And the starters are out for both teams. So now you got one bench dude trying to guard you, who know he ain't got no business guarding, right? You didn't end the penalty. You know what I mean? And you can just draw fouls and shoot free throws for the rest of the quarter. You say what I'm saying? And from there you get your rhythm and you go on your way to 20 points.
No place.
Right,
It was
man.
just saying, hey, go to work. Do
Yeah,
something.
it's going to work. And all us play ball before, all us know it's a lot less pressure when you come off the bench because you know once you
Yeah.
come in the game, you only really got one job.
Yeah.
But see, when you play with the starters, you actually got to try to
Yeah.
win the game. You got to try.
Run
You try.
off. You gotta run offense, get fellas involved, do
You
what
got
the
to play the
coach
role.
say. If I only got 4 minutes, coach, you might as well hold your head, bro. I know what I
Yeah,
come in here to do for these 4 minutes.
you come off the bench, it's no pressure. You know, if you miss a few shots, he can bench you in the retreat.
I came back
So
on the
man,
bench anyway.
so you man said just go ahead and play ball.
Just let
Yeah.
it fly.
That's it.
Yeah,
So
that's that. That's the phenomenon that Fitz Magic go through. But I mean, uh, if Washington football team can give him a chance and they something, so I predict that he is going to lose his starting job.
To who? Who's their backup? I don't even know who's their backup
But
yeah,
is.
I don't think he will. Though Washington football team has a
yeah,
great defense.
They have a very nice defense and a
yeah.
young
They have a great
defense, and they have young
So
wide receivers. So
let's be real, they won't be winning on the offensive end in any event.
and then they're
So
in a
no,
weak division, so that helps them a
yeah.
lot.
so
So
I don't think
and
he's going to lose his starting job.
I think you have enough good games to where they'll decide to weather the storm with him. I feel that way. Um,
Yeah,
and like you said, their defense is good enough to where they just need the bare minimum from him. And if he can
right.
do that, then you know my team to watch is well, my team of interest is the Giants. Um, I'm interested in seeing how Daniel Jones to take a next step this year. He had some good moments last year, the flashes, plenty
He's
fumbles,
not. He's not that guy.
You don't
plenty
think so?
fumbles, but he
Not
got a
that
he got a
guy.
nice team this year. You got Saquon coming back off injury. You got a couple of receivers. You got Tony. You know what I mean? You got Rudolph as a tight end. So I interested in seeing how he responds to
I
what's going
feel
on.
with Daniel Jones, he's gonna have a better season than last year. But the way his last season went, that's not saying much. So I do give you that. Yeah, Daniel Jones will have a better season, but to say top 10, top 15 QB, I doubt it. Um, but
That's what they
Saquon
would need
coming
out of him.
back does alleviate a lot of pressure off him. Um, Saquon obviously is the starter team, even though
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is a QB.
Hmm.
Everybody coming to watch Saquon.
Yeah, I
All the
was going to say
defense
that.
scheme for Saquon.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it does. We know who team that is. Um, my team to watch, to be honest with you, but I have multiple. It's so much storylines, but one of my most intriguing teams, I must say, would be the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, I
Okay.
love the Patriots. Of course, I love watching Tom Brady. But I also want to see what Aaron Rodgers can do because I feel he can slack off and since they give him what he want. But them Cardinals, just because number one, they were a borderline team last year. You coming back, Kyler Murray could be a MVP quarter candidate. Um, you end up getting AJ Green on the low. People write off AJ Green, but he had a history of injuries, and then
Yeah, he
plus
was injured last year.
it's different when you come back and use a number one, but now you come on a team where you use a number two. So now you only get that double coverage that
Mhm.
everybody eyes on you type thing. Everybody went with Hopkins. So you could slide
Yep.
across the middle and get a couple one-on-one matchups that you could beat.
Yeah.
Also, they have a nice defense. They still have Buda Baker. And also
Really
they
nice.
got JJ Watt. Don't forget they signed
Yeah.
JJ Watt. They still got Chandler Jones. And bro,
We got Rodney Hudson.
the only thing that could stop the Cardinals this year is the offensive line. Even though Kyler Murray is a running quarterback, that offensive line don't even give him time to drop back, bro. It's no way you hutting the ball and before you could check down your first receiver, fellas coming up the middle, bro. They ain't even coming around the edges. You got guys coming up the middle at you. So it's like that could be their downfall because their running game isn't that strong. They don't have a real tier one running back. But if they could get that O line to hold for at least 3 seconds to where even he could fake like he can pass the ball and then run, they could have a big season out there in the Western Conference.
I think health is a factor for them too, though. I mean, JJ Watt, he little injury prone. You know what I mean? AJ Green, he what, 30, 32, 33.
Yeah, he should be.
And I got Ronnie Hudson, he over 30 as well. So a lot of their key players are older guys, some injury prone. So health is going to be a serious factor. But if they do stay healthy, and like you said, I really like Kyler Murray a lot. I think he has a chance to be a star in the NFL. So and he might be next up, to be honest. So I think if they stay healthy, they have a real chance to turn things around. It'll really be a good team itself.
We all know who's next up. Stop it.
Who's next up?
Who's next up?
Yeah, let me hear
Patrick
that.
Mahomes, bro.
Who?
He up.
Patrick
He
Mahomes.
is next. He up.
Ah, he ain't next up. He now.
No. Y'all gotta stop.
He's not.
He up.
You cannot say he's now if you still have the GOAT playing the game.
Oh, come
Even
on.
though Tom Brady is not at his peak,
Is
the man just win a 7
Here's the
Super
question.
Bowl.
Here's the question. Is Tom Brady the best quarterback in the league right now?
He's the GOAT.
No, that's not
Yeah,
what I asked.
exactly. I'm
The
questioning.
reason, okay,
for the
let me show you
last
something.
3 seasons, Patrick Mahomes is the
What?
best quarterback.
No. Let me show you the difference. And that's what I tell people with the LeBron story. The way you create a GOAT is by stopping other people from being the GOAT. That's how I look at it. If you look at Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes, who did Tom Brady beat in the Super Bowl? Patrick
He
Mahomes.
beat him, but
Last year. No. Last year, when Tom Brady went and we beat the Rams, who did we beat to go to the Super Bowl? Patrick Mahomes. So if you look at it right now, Patrick Mahomes had in the past 3 seasons, he won 1 year. The Chiefs did win a Super Bowl.
Yep. He did
If
win
it
one.
wasn't for
Gotta give him
Tom
that.
Brady, Patrick Mahomes would have 3 Super Bowls right now. He would have this year, we're just gone, the year before that where they won, and the year before that because we know if Patrick Mahomes to get to beat the Rams or get to meet the Rams that year, Patrick Mahomes then would be. So
Yeah, that's-
Patrick Mahomes would have been on a 3-season Super Bowl win. And the only reason why he didn't win is because he came across Tom Brady. So as the GOAT, your
Patrick
job is
Mahomes-
to stop other people from being the GOAT.
Yeah, but we're not saying Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. At least not yet.
But if he did win them 3 Super Bowls, what you would be saying?
No, we wouldn't have been saying he was the GOAT.
3 Super Bowls in your first.
I'd say he's on his way to be the GOAT. I'd say
And
Tom
so,
Brady
really
didn't even
the
do
GOAT.
that, bro.
no, but for me, okay, there's
3 hold on. These ain't just 3 Super Bowls, Keep in mind, these are 3 Super Bowls as the best player on the team and the MVP. When Tom Brady
But
won
listen,
his first 3 Super Bowls, he was in the MVP. He wasn't even
See,
an MVP thing on or the
see,
best
that's
player on the Patriots.
see, and that's my point. From at least for me, a big factor in the GOAT conversation is longevity. You can't just come in here like Jeremy Lin, have the greatest 3 seasons of all time, and then leave and say you used
Jeremy
to
let me
Lin
GOAT.
stop.
had
Let me
10
stop.
games,
My point
bro.
is, okay, so Patrick Mahomes
Let me
came
stop.
in there, had the greatest 3 seasons of all time, and then
And
that's it.
and you do
Was he have
realize
been the
that
GOAT?
Super Bowls are hard is the
He
hardest
would have been on
championship
his
to
way to
win
being a
out of
goat.
all sports. In
No,
Yeah,
I'm
all
he would have been
saying
on his way.
sports, Super Bowl is the hardest
I
one to win
I
compared to
I
World
saying he'd have
Series
been the
or
goat.
NBA championships.
but you get
I
my
saying he'd have been the
question.
goat.
That
I
those
get your
three
question.
consecutive Super Bowl seasons would have been the only rings he won.
In
Would
three
he have
years,
been the
that's because
GOAT?
he already been in the league 3 years,
No, I'm
Chris.
saying,
That'd
but
have
if
been
that was
that'd
it,
have been the greatest
if
3 year
if
run.
Well,
that was it,
he been in the league for, but that voice here don't count because Alex Smith was there.
That would have been the greatest 3 year. It wouldn't. All right, he wouldn't have been the goat. But I'm saying, if we was to just take it from now, 3 years, 3 seasons, and you win three
right, and with the
championships,
potential
And the
to win
media,
more.
exactly, the media would run with
you
that. They don't
would have
forget the
been
media has a big part to play
on
in
your way
who's
to
to
being
go
a
to.
goat.
Mhm.
I think sometimes
They,
we don't we take it we don't really we take for granted how crazy some of these things is, but
boy,
in
that's
three
wild,
seasons,
bro.
3 seasons, you win 3 Super Bowls, bro.
And an
Three Super Bowls,
MVP.
3 seasons, and
And
an
two to one,
MVP.
he's gonna be all three of those Super Bowl. He's probably gonna be the MVP for 3 of those Super Bowls,
Yeah,
at least two. So he was a 3 time Super Bowl champion, 3 time Super Bowl MVP, 1 time regular season MVP, 50 touchdowns in a season. Man, this man have a whole career in 3 years.
but that's an interesting topic, you know. And I will segue into
So,
too far away from this. I gotta ask you all a question, right? Do you all think we punish people when they win early and reward them when they win late? I feel as if
yes.
when people win early in their career, it's almost like a sin because now you
Mhm.
gotta live up to what you was doing early in your career. Whereas if they win late, they get a little bit more respect for that.
Yeah,
What y'all
I
think of that?
agree 100%. And
Uh,
it's a million examples to support that point that we reward them when they win late versus when they win early.
I feel like
Is a
it
million
depends. Like
examples.
it depends on
But
the situation. Like in Patrick Mahomes' reason, you understand that Patrick Mahomes was the reason for you winning. So it's like it's different than I could be real. Like the first year Brady win, maybe even the second one. I feel like even if Bledsoe was there, we had a very good chance of still winning the Super Bowl. So it's like Brady just came in and do what we asking Mac Jones to do, not turn the ball over. So in his later years, when he won the last 3 Super Bowls, it was more of a okay, this Brady team. He's slinging, he calling the plays, he checking all the things, he checking in the things. Back then, Brady was more of a systematic guy. So it's like, and it depends on the situation. Like some guys could win early and you're not penalized. I don't know. It's tight.
I
Not
I
not
feel
feel
very
like
like
much quarterbacks win early though.
I feel like
no,
it's
but
like it's almost like this. Like you have like I think when you win early, you sort of. But even if you don't quite win, even if you succeed or like overperform in terms of expectations, people sort of now put new expectations upon you, right?
mhm.
Like even if I was to like switch it to the NBA, right?
Oh yeah, well that's hefty.
That's that's common in NBA, right? But like for instance, Carl Anthony Towns, Carl Anthony Towns second year in the league, people are saying Carl Anthony Towns is going to be the best big man in the NBA. And next couple of years,
Boy,
they're
he had
saying
that
they'll build their
potential, bro.
franchise around him, right? He still is a
And look
very
what
great
happened.
player, but now
Very
it's
good.
almost like people forget about him. You know what I mean? So it's like imagine magnifying that to where you win a championship. Let's say the Pistons draft Melo in '03. How differently would we look at Melo's career?
Oh boy.
He might have had 2 rings,
I know
right?
one thing. LeBron would have had a harder time saying he was the GOAT just off of that one pick. Because Melo would get his ring first. Also, don't forget the Pistons was also the Cavaliers' rival. So that would have been plenty cut up for LeBron. Them 47 years, bro.
It was plenty color for LeBron. I mean, I don't
Exactly.
think
With Tayshaun Prince, he was plenty cut it. So imagine Melo, who was always his rival, and Melo used to top that when Denver come to town. So imagine Melo
I know you saw
on a
play him for real.
defensive-minded team. Oh Lord.
He owe Melo a rookie year trophy as well, by the way.
Oh,
I
that,
get it.
anyway, that's a
No,
whole
but
different story.
Okay.
That's a
Here's-
whole different story. That's
I
probably
feel
why
like
he bring Melo to get this ring.
I feel like when players win early, it's always seen as a fluke if they don't win again.
Ah,
If their careers don't continue
uh,
in that trajectory, it's gonna be seen as a fluke. Versus if they win later, it's seen as hard earned, deserved.
determination,
Wait so
etc.
long, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
long
like
time coming and
to get to the
And the perfect
mountaintop and
example
all that other stuff.
is the perfect example is when Dirk won. I mean,
Right.
that still to this day, people are saying it's one of the greatest,
boy,
you
that
know,
was one of the most
championships of all
hard
time.
deserved
It was,
championships.
I ain't gonna lie, it was.
No, but are we saying that because he took so long to get it, or
That
No,
too,
but
and then plus what he went up
kind of a
against.
competition he beat me.
You going up against the big three in their prime,
Mhm.
He beat
and you
Kobe
had
and
literally who was his number two? Jason Terry,
Jason Kidd? Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd,
Tyson
Jason Terry.
Chandler. Come on,
Beat
man.
Kobe coming off a 2-peat, and Kobe won the 3-peat now. So he beat Kobe coming off a 2-peat. He beat a young Thunder team,
Yeah,
KD, Russ.
Durant, KD. I mean Durant, Westbrook, and Harden.
Yeah, and then you come back and you beat the big three, like you say, in their prime. In that first year together when Wade was playing at his highest level. So that's why I think people look at it impressive.
I love it.
But also, like you say, the fact that he had already been through his struggles. He had already lost in '06 to Miami. And he already lost in, that was '07 in the first round or something like that. The first round, he's the number 1 seed, and he loses the number 8 seed. So he had been through a lot of playoff
I
struggles.
mean the year when they give him MVP over Kobe,
MVP,
and he
and he
get
loses
knocked
the
out
first round.
from Byron Davis
Yeah.
in the first round.
Don't make it too
The
much
8
Kobe
seed?
got robbed, bro.
Baby Logan. Thank you very
Come
much
on,
for
don't make it
tuning
too much
in.
Kobe got robbed.
Wait.
Everyone
I
always
didn't-
is the
you know
only.
what?
The only point y'all is look at is okay. Look at Kobe points per game, as if they wasn't horrible.
That's right, man. That's not
But
the
you
select.
saying points per game like Kobe
That's
was
not
the
the
best
select, man.
two-way player, bro.
No, Kobe was the best in the league at
was
the time.
he was a two-way player. He was also on first team all defense. So
Yes,
it's not just
Kobe.
his 35 points a game. It's also locking up the best player on that end.
Right, but we know record has a lot to do with that, don't we? James Harden.
So what happened to
um,
Westbrook? Westbrook win MVP
Westbrook
at the 6th
is the
seed.
first, yeah, because he got
And that's because we had the petition, because we
Make
already
it
saw
feel.
other guys got robbed before.
Let me say that about this. I don't have that too much.
Hey, shout out Slimmy, shout out Timmy, and shout out O'Dawn. I see y'all.
But
Okay,
listen, like I said
going
before,
back to the
go ahead.
no, I was saying going back to the original point. I mean, even with Jordan lost what the first
That's
7
true.
7 years of his career. Nobody ever said, "Oh, he ain't amount to nothing." I mean, he was winning MVP, so I guess.
I gonna say.
Yeah, I guess it's he ain't like he was just
I got to
losing straight up.
say,
He was.
and he won
like the
Defensive
MVP.
Player of the Year.
Yeah, okay. So that's probably my example.
But I think people like to see struggle. You say that even with Giannis.
They do.
Giannis ain't old at all. Giannis, what, 25, 26? But
Mhm.
Giannis' ratings going way up this year, right? Because people watch him get had Martian the last couple of playoffs,
So yeah.
and now he come out this year and draw 50 in Game 7. So
Mhm.
as opposed to like if in his first playoffs he did win, then you would have seen a lot of disdain. You would see people like almost like rooting family like fail almost like like this is a fluke because people don't want to believe that you could actually win just coming together. People don't want to believe that, but it does happen sometimes, rare occasions, but it does happen.
And don't
You know what I
forget, Giannis did win literally by a toe. If the round spin was a 3-pointer, the game would have never gone to overtime.
If
The Nets would have
it
won
was a
Game
fifth-
7, and the Nets would have made it to the finals against and James Harden and Kyrie would have been back, the Nets probably would have been the champions right now.
If
Yeah.
I had
But
6'5", if I had been in the NBA. You
the
can always say,
reason,
yeah,
well, we get plenty
if,
6'5"
if,
fellas
But
walking
that's
in
the
here.
biggest if I've ever
But
seen in life, though. That is,
what?
we always say if, but that if
yeah,
is
that one toe. Come
I see
on,
which
bro.
one,
literally
though. I see
If
which
the
one.
Nets win,
that's a
you going
huge if.
against the Hawks next round, and then you get Kyrie and James Harden back, and then
Yeah.
you get into the finals against Lawn Chair, Chris Paul, and
Whoa,
a
whoa, whoa,
young
whoa. Hold on.
Lawn Chair
Let's
Chris
tone
Paul.
down the disrespect a tad bit.
Man, that
Chris
is
Paul
football
was an MVP candidate this year. Maybe
candidate. No one
he
remembers
was
second
top.
place, bro.
He was top 10. Wow.
It's
We
funny,
barely
it's
remember.
250,
funny. Hey,
250
it's
That
players
is
in
funny,
the league.
great.
You only remember two.
I don't
it's
remember to
funny
give
Wow.
you a
to
trophy
see
for coming in second in MVP race.
your boy is celebrating early, though. Chris Paul is celebrating after that game, too. It's getting all
Yeah,
day, but
him and
interview with
Wade on the
Isaiah
side
Thomas.
there about two
Hey, dog,
more. What he said? Wade
say
tell him
two
say two
more.
more.
Boy.
That
I
was
see
his last man.
LeBron tweet. When I see LeBron tweet, two more CP, I say, yeah, now from here.
Yeah, no.
Are you sure?
I say that's it. That's it
Yeah,
for
No,
because
now.
we
but
know what he.
but hey, but you know what? That goes back to what we just said. People love to see struggle. Who struggled more than Chris Paul to even make it to the finals?
But
That
I
dude
think
He
struggled.
did.
I
He
So
still
did. He
think
did.
Giannis this year's struggle was bigger because don't forget last year when Giannis then got kicked out. Remember, people were saying Giannis will never win an NBA championship as long as he can't shoot. Because I think who they played against was that Philly, where everybody was just parking the lane and dropping back, and he literally couldn't do nothing because everybody was just parking the lane, dropping. And people was like, "Oh, they figure Giannis out." Until he get a jump shot, he's never gonna win because they don't figure him out.
Yeah,
Next year come, Giannis beat everybody. It's like, what?
but I feel like that's gonna be short lived because they're not gonna improve because they feel like they've made it now, in which they haven't because they was losing against Brooklyn and they was losing against the Hawks
Boy,
before
they
Trey
make,
went down.
but it ain't like they make the finals. Like Chris Paul hasn't made it yet. Giannis has made it. The man
The
has
finals
a
before.
championship
No, but what I'm
and
saying, right?
an
No, but
MVP.
this isn't a knock against his career. I'm saying because they won, they're not gonna improve that team because they feel as though they're the best. They were the best in the league, in which they were not the best team
No,
in the league.
they're not healthy. Healthy wise, they're not the best team. But I told my
Okay.
co-workers, because my co-workers, we always bet on playoffs. And I told them that the healthiest team in the playoffs was going to win. And at the time, the healthiest team was
One,
the
yeah,
Milwaukee Bucks.
and it's the
Even in
same
the
thing.
finals, Chris Paul got injured.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for the Suns. Look at the moves they made this offseason. There wasn't no big moves because they felt like okay, we made the finals, so be up there. I bet y'all ain't, bro.
You know who I
That's why I
also
said,
want to shout out? I want to shout out Drew Holiday. People leave Drew Holiday. See, let me just put it. But people underrate Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is one of the best two-way point guards. Also, you have to look
yeah,
at this man's situation. Drew Holiday, I think, had a situation with his wife a couple of seasons ago where he had to sit out.
Yeah.
Also,
brain
when he
surgery.
exactly, and also when he came back, don't forget they trade Anthony Davis.
Mhm.
So they leave you in a trash can down in New Orleans. Your career was basically looking almost over.
shout
Your
out
wife
Nola.
just had a
I
whole
like
thing,
Nola.
and then all of a sudden, Drew Holiday gets traded to the Bucks. That was never no big news. Like it was okay news. Like we saw Drew Holiday go for Eric Bledsoe. It's like it wasn't really a
Upgrade.
upgrade. They the
I
same
thought it's
type
an
of
upgrade, but not a
players.
big upgrade. But
Yeah, people's like not a
yeah.
big upgrade. And then when you get to the playoffs, you realize that hey, Drew Holiday just he's that guy. Well, he ain't that guy as a top point guard, as a top five, but he's that guy as that's a point guard you would put on your team
So listen,
if you already have a superstar where he doesn't have to be number one.
Drew Holiday had a bad shooting series of finals, but he had Chris Paul in the hardest series. He had
Really.
that man locked right up.
He did.
That boy
He did.
can get
After
away from that.
after
And
the
I
second game. But the thing is, during the first two games, Chris Paul was going right at Drew, and I'm like, really? That's what we doing?
yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want
And
that.
and then I don't know. Drew must have just watched film and
He
it's
has to
like,
let me
okay,
figure it out.
I figure it
He's
out.
like, wait, we can stop one of these dudes. We can stop this one. And once you cut off Chris Paul, who was the head of that snake, even though I believe Devin Booker was the best player on the team, Chris Paul was the head of the snake. Once you cut him off, then it just made things a little bit more difficult.
Yeah.
And then once Giannis started to figure out, like, wait, these two ain't got no answer for me at all.
That was really the biggest.
Shout out Aiton, he can improve from that, but dudes ain't got no answer from him at all.
That, to
You know
be
what I mean?
honest, that was the only reason I glad CP3 stayed, and it's because honestly, CP3 could tell. We've watched his career. He have always made every center he played with better.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I talking about guys who really ain't offensive. You had guys like Tyson Chandler. He was one of the best defensive centers in the league, but very rarely was considered an
Three of
offensive
them.
power
You
until
could call
Chris
you could
Paul
call
throw
on
all
three of
type of
them:
lobs.
Tyson, DeAndre
Same
Jordan,
thing with
and Capella.
DeAndre Jordan. That man made a whole career off of just catching alley oops.
Yeah.
Now you got some. Oh yeah, Clint Capella. Same
Mm-hmm.
thing. Now you
Yeah,
got someone
I
who
know he is.
is offensively inclined
Yeah.
and defensively inclined. And I felt it was good that I thought Aiden would have signed a supermax this year, but I feel he's going to get even more money next year because Chris Paul returned and they're going to have maybe not a finals run, but Aiden will be more involved in the offense with Chris Paul this season. I feel he's going to be a top 5, top 10 center by season's end, and then you can have to give him the bag.
Yeah, I think eventually he's a top five center. I mean,
Aiden, Aiden's
eventually,
gonna be all stars this year, bro.
I think he's the best out this year.
Yeah.
What,
Like,
centers in the
it's
West?
a
Center,
tough, it's a tough
yeah,
competition.
center.
Or like this, Aiton
Mm,
proved that he's one of the few
possibly.
centers who could play deep into the playoffs. If we watch the playoffs for the last few years, as it gets deeper, usually teams get smaller, right? So usually those like Dwight Howard and Drummond them, they gotta sit down. The bench McGee, they gotta sit down. While you play your best players, you play Anthony Davis at center, maybe. You play a guy like Bahamas center who can guard multiple positions. Aiton proved this year that he's a center that can play really deep into the playoffs. He could play big. He could play small. He
Mm-hmm.
could he could he could rebound, finish inside. You know what I mean? He could shoot the little turnaround jumper. But he just ran into Giannis, and that was his downfall there.
And guess what? Not just Giannis, because AD was killing them too before he went down. AD was destroying the Suns.
Yeah, and this
Oh
is why I
man.
try to tell dudes this. Listen, this is why I try to tell dudes this. Now that you say that, see, these people think basketball is Dragon Ball Z, boy, and I just don't be into
Yeah.
that, boy. You
Yeah.
see what I said? When 80 went down, I say, okay, the Lakers have no chance of winning the series. I say,
None at
no,
all.
zero chance, right? LeBron fans obviously, oh, boy, what did LeBron to do this before? I said, but this ain't got nothing to do with LeBron.
I've never seen
80
him do
went
it.
down.
Yeah.
That was they don't have no answer for Anthony Davis. This
No.
ain't got nothing to do with LeBron.
No.
You see what he said?
It was that prototype player, Anthony Davis, Giannis. The Suns had no answer for all season. Not
I
even
mean,
just
no one have answers for AD nor Giannis, so it's
right.
like you can't
Right.
even
But
blame them,
Yeah,
honestly and truly.
but especially Phoenix. But they guarding him with Jay Crowder. I know I told you got it.
Boy,
It's
that
fine.
that could teeth a salary, boy.
They guarding with
bro,
him.
listen. So
So
they just end up fucking two of the teams with those, prototype players.
Yeah, them
Fortunately, AD went down the first round, or the Suns would have been out.
I believe that too.
And
And this is not. Yeah,
if
it don't mean I.
they avoided the Bucks in the finals, I think Suns would have been champions.
If they
But
play,
obviously
if they
because
play
Brooklyn was injured,
Atlanta,
But
if
he
they
would
play
have
Atlanta,
played.
yeah,
Brooklyn
yeah,
was
if they
getting
play
their
Brooklyn,
Atlanta,
players back.
or injured Brooklyn. Yeah.
Brooklyn was getting their players back though, because Harden was already back. He just needed another week, and Kyrie was
Uh,
coming back. Boy,
I I I was
I think
confident in
Phoenix was
them.
beating them.
I was
Harden look
confident in
nice
Phoenix
to
beating
think.
them, but Harden, just not Kyrie.
Harden looks stink, but yeah, I ain't
Yeah,
gonna lie to
Harden
you.
was horrible.
He wasn't. I
Those
don't think
big,
he was ready. I think he was just a decoy because they started to like double and triple Durant. So they's like, let's just put Harden in the corner. So someone got to stay over there with him.
yeah, to give you the
Because
threat
without
that he
Harden, to be honest, they don't have a very deep bench. So it's like Durant with guys.
they deep this year though. They little deep this year.
They
They
deep.
little deep.
I think they deep bigs wise, but guards wise, I don't think they still got it. So it's gonna be intriguing. I really want LeBron and Durant and Kyrie and James Harden and Melo and all these guys to meet in the finals. But we've seen it let us down before, like in 08, 09. Remember the cookies commercial with LeBron and Kobe? And
Yeah,
Nike
we
was running
remember that.
this big ad, and
And
LeBron
there
just
was a
couldn't make it.
Sprite commercial too.
Yeah, the
So that
Sprite
was a
commercial.
Sprite commercial. It was a cookies commercial.
He's
Yeah.
like, LeBron,
Yeah.
has you seen my 3 championship rings? Do you even know what they look like? But anyway, that was
Listen, but
funny.
I feel like that always gets us down. That hardly ever happens to two people that people expect, the two teams that people expect to make the
But if
championship.
they do, I think that would be the best finals. I want to make it, and I want them to make it healthy.
Mhm.
At least the stars healthy. If you got a couple one little Rondo, no, I need Rondo. I need Rondo. Let's see.
Wait, listen, I don't know if you watched Rondo last year,
I need Rondo.
but that boy's
Rondo,
like a youth.
I suspect Rondo is going to play more minutes than Westbrook in the playoffs.
You think in the playoffs he can play more minutes than Westbrook?
I think so.
Wait,
I
that
think
boy can,
I think
he
they
can
can
watch
sit
him
down
last year.
Westbrook.
Wait,
I don't think
yeah,
they can do that. I think they can put Westbrook and Rondo on the court at the same time.
that's ugly basketball.
No,
Like,
you might think so, but I don't think so.
ugly.
Think
What?
about it.
You put
Westbrook
LeBron on the
actually
floor with that too?
initial. You realize Westbrook initial position was shooting guard
When
when
in
he's at
high school,
UCLA.
What did he-
No, when
what
he's
did
in
he shoot?
UCLA,
What did
and
he shoot?
okay,
the only reason he really played point guard for OKC is because of James Harden. They actually wanted him to play the 2.
But what are you shooting?
Huh?
If he's shooting that on a team with him and Rondo, what are you shooting? Who's shooting? You
clog
go
the
Westbrook
paint,
to shoot?
clog the paint. 80 gets nothing. Paint clog.
Two dudes with their head
80
wrapped down
gets
your bricks.
nothing. You realize that these are the two best passes. Like,
Yeah, but my point is,
wait, y'all like say Westbrook is hog, but the man is leading
Wait.
the league in assists. I don't
oh
You
come
put
on,
understand.
Rondo
those are
and
not.
Russ in that backcourt, and you have LeBron on the wing. It's cheap
Those
if
are
you
not
get
what, wait?
steal backboard. Because
First of all, they're gonna clog the
he ain't
paint because
enough.
there's no shooters on the perimeter. So 80's gonna be triple teams at all times.
I
Because
think
there's no
that's the
shooter to
biggest
spread the floor.
that's the biggest downfall of the Lakers this year. They have a really nice team, but they don't have enough shooting to me. They have
They
Melo,
don't.
they have Wayne Ellington.
Don't worry.
Them two dudes could be key.
We can fix
Hello,
that.
Wayne
And
Ellington.
that's probably it.
One thing with the
Um,
Lakers can they just leave that one roster spot open. They can fix that by time trade deadline come. They just want to see if this team works. If this
Yeah.
team doesn't
Yeah.
work, we always pick up a buyout option, one of JJ Redick or
Yeah.
whatever, someone.
Now
But
I feel the biggest
JJ
trick.
Redick is available.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I feel the biggest cheat code is at the end of the day they could always just say, "Break 80, play center," right? And 80 play center, then you could add 2 shooters next to LeBron and Westbrook, and that could work, right? But if you
Mhm.
have 80 playing power forward, Dwight Howard playing center, Russ playing point guard, LeBron playing whatever, you don't have 4 niggas on the court who the defense say, "Okay, you know what? Y'all shoot. I happy if any of y'all shoot, whatever." You know what I mean?
Playing those numbers, yeah.
Yeah, we can play a numbers game. You all 3, you all 4, you all 3. Well, they know Westbrook can shoot it. They know that for sure. You, LeBron, and 80 can shoot, but 80 is reluctant to shoot.
Yeah.
He could shoot, but he likes to operate in the mid post a little bit more, whatever the case may be. He don't like to just stand up and shoot. So I think defense would just play a numbers game. So I think the Lakers have to really try to bring in 1 or 2 more shooters, and they could have they probably beat the Nets if they do that.
Keep in mind too that playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. In the playoffs, I think they'll have to figure it out more because playoffs slow down and be more
Oh yeah,
half
of course.
court. But
Definitely.
for the regular
Regular
season,
season. Oh,
that
don't
team
even
is a
bother.
fast break team.
Right,
Maybe
Dwight
every
Howard
time.
and 80 get that
Yeah.
ball, and LeBron pushing that, and Westbrook pushing. You know what Westbrook is doing.
Yeah.
These fellas is come off the rim, and before, if you get 24 seconds, by the time the clock hit 20, fellas down to the rim.
Yeah, they
So
have,
it's
and they
like-
have
Yeah.
throughout the season. They have a lot of different points they could experiment with. They could experiment with the fast
Yeah.
line. They can experiment with the half court set. They can experiment, bro. They have a lot. They can experiment with an
Yeah.
all defensive team, all defensive lineup.
Exactly. We looking
have-
at it as an offensive end, but people don't realize that when you play great defense, and that team, what they put together, like you say, Rondo, Westbrook, LeBron, AD, Dwight Howard. Defensively, those 5 people, they might not be shooters. But which 5 can go off on that starting five and say, oh, we could run a smooth offense against them. The second you miss, that's 2 points down that end. You get another stop, that's 2 points down that end.
Mhm.
The only team I could see really exploiting that is a team like probably Golden State. Because if they hitting trees, where you could put the 89 Pistons on that accordion now. But the second you miss a ball, that's 2 points for the Lakers.
But
Yeah.
listen, even with that being said, right? Lakers have a very good team. It's the biggest concerns obviously is shooting and health. Like they have an older team, so now you got to make sure, you know, them dudes can actually really stay healthy for the course of the season.
Even
But like
the
you
older
say,
fellas, man, it's Glass, Bottle, Davis, and
yeah,
like
it's AD for real.
I don't understand.
It's
Anthony
AD for
Davis is
real.
one of the youngest fellas.
And that's where Dwight Howard and somebody
DeAndre.
played. DeAndre. Wait, that nigga. Wait, let me not speak.
But this Lob City all over again.
He
Boy.
finished. Lord. Wait,
You think so?
But listen,
But we ain't
like I
asking
said,
him to put it back to the basket, no. All we
Like I
ask
said
him to do
someone
is
the other day.
rebound and catch alley.
like I told someone the other day, boy, Brooklyn is a contender too, boy, and they let that boy go. So if I tell you he finished,
No, don't forget.
that
man.
I don't win.
Don't forget that man had a $20 million salary. They trade him off because they wanted cap space. They got to. Don't forget these guys can get re-signed. You know, Kyrie's supposed to re-sign an extension. They want Durant and Harden on an extension, so you couldn't keep DeAndre on a max. Now I agree that he's finished when it comes to being a max, like a good top 5, top 10
But
center.
he been finished.
But if
He
you
been
put him under that rim where you got drivers and guys who like to throw lobs, he could give you 10, 12, 14 points. That's all we asking, bro. We ain't telling you DeAndre got to go. He never was that guy to go off for no 20, 25 points. But he
No,
can get one,
but-
3, 4 lobs a game. That's 8
So
points.
okay, but do you realize we looking at first of all, he ain't playing in the playoffs. If we talking 8-7 minutes max,
He ain't playing the playoffs. Don't worry about that.
because Dwight is the same player but better, right? And then you got AD, who they're gonna put at the 5 when they want to go small. So DeAndre Jordan playoffs don't even look for him, right? So we just talking about regular season runs, and when the regular season runs, I could see him working with
very
Westbrook
productive.
more. Yeah, given that they want to save AD and they want to save, the backup Dwight for playoffs, I could see they running the hell out of DeAndre,
For sure.
So I could see
And
that.
then, and then you can let go DeAndre, but you re-sign LaMarcus. If you had a choice right now, to be honest with you, at this
Yes.
stage in LaMarcus' career,
I'm
you
taking
rather-
LaMarcus.
LaMarcus
Yes.
to do what?
What you mean to do what? LaMarcus is still a scorer on the low post, which Brooklyn, the only other scorer they have is well,
You
they just
watched
signed
the-
Paul Millsap. But it was
You watched the
KD.
season before he got his little. You realize that man was hustling so much that he had almost blowing. He had to retire. But LaMarcus was in the scene. LaMarcus,
No, he
I
ain't
watched
balling
them games,
LaMarcus.
but that boy was heavy. He was out of shape. Y'all, I feel like it's at this point in time where you ask DeAndre just to catch lobs and rebound, compared to, like you say, you still asking LaMarcus to score. You still giving him the ball down low and expect him to make post moves and get a bucket.
Right.
We ain't
but
asking
even-
DeAndre to do that, bro.
Let me
But
show you
even
why,
if-
right?
Even
Y'all
if
know
not,
DJ
LaMarcus still spreads the floor more than DeAndre, and then
Y'all know
He does.
DJ was
Brooklyn
healthy all
has
last
3
year, right?
ISO players,
Y'all know DJ was healthy in the playoffs last year, right?
Huh?
and he didn't play.
Yeah.
Is your point?
And he,
No,
and
but
he
he-
ain't played all, right? Y'all remember seeing him play at all?
No, but he had like a groin issue.
Yeah, he had to go in and shoot from sitting on the bench too long. Yeah, he made that.
No, but see,
Yeah, that
Brooklyn
may
has
ride that
three.
bench.
Brooklyn has 3 ISO players, so they need to get to the rim. They can take them on at any point. They will take them on at any point in the game. They don't need DeAndre Jordan and this man just sitting there looking pretty
And listen to
independent,
me.
clogging up the paint.
Mark my words. He's a worse version of Andre Drummond.
I ain't gonna lie.
He's a worse version of Andre Drummond.
I miss Drummond though. Drummond, I think
No, don't say that. Don't say that. You
we didn't give Drummond a chance.
You
The only
ain't missing.
problem, the problem with it is, like I say, the difference is DeAndre was starting, and with DeAndre, I mean Drummond was starting, but with DeAndre, like I said, we ain't asking much from him, bro. Y'all can't all like this. I start and say like we asking him to play 30 minutes a game and do something. And Dwight Howard know he roll. Dwight Howard know if AD catch the ball on the left side, you go hard right.
Yeah,
You
But
stay
see,
out.
look
You
when you look at what Dwight Howard does, DeAndre don't have that kind of IQ. Well, Dwight was an all-star. He was a franchise player.
Yeah, I
He
mean
too much.
DeAndre's all staff a little while too. A little while
So
too.
DeAndre don't have that IQ. DeAndre don't have the intangibles that Dwight have. Dwight getting in your best player head. Dwight is an energy guy. DeAndre, I think he finished, man. I agree with Tom.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think we'll finish.
he finished on
But
a high level, but he could contribute to a contender.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the biggest thing for the Lakers reserves now is to keep the main players healthy by taking a sucking
yeah,
the ball in minutes during the
and
season.
that's where Russ would help. Like with Russ, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing to me about the Lakers getting him. Is because now you can keep LeBron fresh
Hmm.
for the whole season. You say, saying you don't have to run LeBron body into the ground. You could say, but you could take a few games off here and there. Russ, he ready to go all 82. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He ain't watching nothing. You ready to play the whole 82 games?
48
That's it.
minutes. Yeah,
The challenge will be when the playoff time comes around because I feel as if there will be a lot of games where LeBron and Russ miss to where okay, you have to sort of and 80 of course. There's no 80 made of glass. So it's like the playoffs come around. Now you have to try to integrate them three together. Say saying. So that might be the biggest challenge right there.
My perspective or I'm really intrigued to see what the media does if the Lakers have the best record in the league. Because I say that because the MVP is a media generated thing. And if you got Mr. Face of the League LeBron there, but you got Westbrook there almost averaging a triple double. And then you
and
got
he
80 there, who
running
was
the show.
literally remember the last time when LeBron was playing point guard, 80 was up for defensive player of the year and MVP.
MVP, yeah,
But people still were saying, oh, this LeBron team.
yeah, that's
Now you
interesting.
add Westbrook to it. So if these guys go and win 60, 65 games, and you're looking at this team and you're seeing Westbrook averaging, let's say, 22, 8 and 8. You
Mhm.
got 80 averaging 25, 10 and 5. And then you got LeBron averaging 22, 8 and 8. Basically, LeBron and Westbrook can give you around the
Listen,
same. What you can say now?
Who did you say?
You
Yeah,
still can
that's a
say
very good
LeBron is
point.
the head and shoulder clear cut MVP at our team?
Yeah,
and you got a super team. My rule is when you got a super team, you ain't no one with MVP. You gotta get it to
listen,
someone else.
I agree with that. But I wish the
You
How?
gotta
media
get it
thought
to
the
someone
same
else.
way. I wish
You
look
gotta
at
get it to
how
someone
we
else.
have way more help than other people.
You gotta get it to someone else. You
Didn't,
can't get
didn't
a
LeBron
can't get a
didn't
number one
LeBron
super
get
team.
an MVP in Miami?
Hmm.
Not deserved.
Oh,
Not
okay.
But
deserved.
he's saying that it shouldn't be like
Once you
that.
say it didn't
Yeah,
deserve, I
not
good.
deserved.
We good.
Not deserved. I
We
feel the
good.
same way when the Warriors
But
had
that's a
KD
different.
and
But
Steph
timeout. That's
and
a
Clay.
difference though, because LeBron did deserve that. He was a clear cut. He was a clear cut
Stop
leader
it.
in Miami. He
Stop
was
it.
in the outplay in
Stop it.
Miami.
Stop it. Okay.
LeBron was the best
He's
player
the
in the team
best
in
player,
Miami.
obviously. He
But we
obviously is the
just
best player in Miami.
but we
Obviously,
just
obviously
say
he's the
that he
best player
had
in
too
Miami.
much help. We just
But
said
But
that.
when
now,
you like I say,
now it's not obvious that he's the best. I mean, it's kind of obvious that he ain't the best player to be honest on the Lakers. So how do you
you
give it
think
to
it's
him?
obviously he ain't the best player
Don't
in the league.
cause these LeBron fans light up this show
Hey,
I
tonight.
come
that's
I
not
ain't
that.
into
That's
that.
not that.
any
I ain't
any
into
That's
Laker
that.
not
fan.
We need to
LeBron
round this up. That's
obviously
what I'm
any
saying.
Laker fan could look at it and see AD is carrying that team without AD.
Laker fan. Don't forget, we are now having to spread this bandwagon for the past 2 years between Laker fans and LeBron fans. Everybody who know me know I've been a Laker fan all my life. Everybody who also know me know I don't like LeBron. I am a Laker fan, not a
Mhm.
LeBron fan. When he leaves, y'all make sure carry all your stuff.
I
Don't leave your
understand.
boxes. Don't leave your
And
T-shirt. Don't leave nothing around you. Carry everything
I
when
understand.
LeBron leave.
Like the Laker fans been going through some tribulations ever since LeBron went there. I get that.
Wait, they so conflicted. What respect? I look
I
at them
wouldn't.
on
I
Facebook.
wouldn't want to beat them. Obviously, I wouldn't want to beat
I
them.
I look at them on Facebook. I say, what happened to you on Facebook?
They don't. When he said the people who's be happy when they win or lose, it don't matter.
Wait,
If they
real.
lose,
Wait,
if
let
they
me
Wait,
show you
lose,
something, right? I can lie. When 80 went down, right? Like you say, with the Suns, right? I was a Laker fan, right? But the fellas is coming out, oh, LeBron put the K in this team. That's all I say now is. But you got this way. Chris Paul, but y'all better make sure Lakers don't get
Wait,
out this first round.
I still know, wait. It's like a switch is go off in their head when they see they about to lose, and they be like, wait, I want LeBron to lose now. Like, they ain't gonna fall with it all the time.
No,
But if they see him about to look like what they need or not, wait, every day can find Gerald LeBron after that. They say, yeah, but just wait, you see losing, but
Yeah.
I still this nigga on my
you,
contract.
Yeah,
I
you think
still
you can
got
win this by yourself? Eh? You ain't gonna win this by yourself, Ryan. Yeah, bro.
I
Oh
don't know
boy.
that at some point
wait,
they
yeah, the
like I
Iron
say
Man.
they get more enjoyment from it whether they win or lose. You know,
Hey,
it's a happy day for them.
but I know one thing. Let LeBron go down and AD and Westbrook still there. And we carry this team into the chat. Well,
Listen,
listen.
I don't think that's a championship
Listen.
team without
You know
LeBron.
that happening.
No, I said carry the championship. We might not win if
Oh,
we
okay, Carey.
I don't even see that.
It's
West.
possible. It's
It's
possible.
possible. With
It's
that team
possible.
with Westbrook, AD,
Kawhi down.
and Melo.
Kawhi down.
Well,
In the playoff, we're talking playoffs. We're talking
yeah,
playoffs.
but don't
Yeah,
forget now, it's all
Kawhi
Westbrook,
about
and Jimmy
matchups.
together.
It's all
Westbrook,
about
and playoffs.
matchups. If we
Yeah, I know
get
Kawhi
Yeah,
if
down.
we get
Westbrook and
Portland
Taylor
first
put
round,
together. Really.
as good as Damian Lillard is, if we get Portland first round, good. That's past round one.
No,
Next
hold on,
round,
time out.
hold on,
Because
what?
Damian
Hold on.
Lillard is a Westbrook killer.
Yes.
Don't need better
Yeah,
depend on
like I
AD and
said,
not
as
Westbrook.
good as Damian Lillard is, that team cannot beat the Lakers. Damian Lillard would go off every night for probably about 40, 45
I don't
points.
think. I think if Portland but Lakers first round without LeBron, Portland would win that series.
Hey,
I
but
think so.
start us
I
right
don't
quick.
think so. I don't.
I
I
think
don't
I
think.
can
I
make
don't
Because
think
some
so
money
because
next year.
I have
Portland have
listen.
a
I have no faith in Westbrook in the playoffs. I
I don't like
don't.
Portland team. Outside of Dame and CJ, I don't really like the team. I
I don't
mean,
like Portland team either.
outside of
But
Dame, I really don't like the team.
I
CJ,
just gonna
I like him
say,
as a player, but
CJ.
I like CJ as a player, but
That's another.
not on that
That's
particular
another
team,
lawn chair.
not on that particular team. So outside of Dame, I really don't like Portland team like that. So I'd say Lakers probably could win that one
and
with that.
To me, Portland got worse from last year. But just the
They did
Lakers
get worse. They did get worse.
with Westbrook running the ball. I just don't. The ball ain't gonna move.
In the words of Shannon Sharp, Lakers in 5.
We
Anyway,
ain't know all last year too.
let's try to wrap this up. Before we wrap this up, let's talk a little bit about the big three what we've been through over the weekend. So all us would have seen a big three game. For those who didn't know, they had the playoffs and the championships, and Nassau over Atlantis. Hopefully hopefully it's the first of many that they have. So the playoffs was last week. The championships was Saturday. We got some clips for you. We probably could post them up later. But I mean, from your experience, because all of us been there, all of us caught some games. What do y'all think about the whole tournament itself, and what do y'all think about the atmosphere? I mean, I thought it was like a really good experience.
It was for me. Initially, I was more starstruck than anything, to be honest. First person I see walking out the door was Dr. J. You get to see ISO Joe play in person. But the thing is, I expected, and I guess it's my fault because I expected these players to be themselves, them prime selves. Like when I saw Al Jefferson, I'm like, I'm ready to see Al Jeff go to work.
But
Yeah.
anyway.
Dude was, I mean, I don't know what that was. And it's a scene for ISO Joe. It was like, this ISO Joe. This the big ISO Joe everyone's talking about. So
Yeah.
I maybe I went in there with the wrong expectation, but the names that we so accustomed to,
Jason Richardson.
it don't right. The
They rich,
names
they rich.
don't really match up with the skill anymore. And
No.
it's a bit disappointing when you watch it at first. Like if you're an avid fan of it, then you know what to expect, so you enjoy
Yeah.
it. But for me,
Wait.
that was my first time watching it, and I was looking for the not prime, but some
I mean, I still
Jefferson
could add
work.
Reggie Evans. I still could add. That's it.
The only thing I like the setup of it.
he
One thing I like
he
about
got
it-
better. Reggie Evans.
Yeah, because he always try. But
Yeah.
I like the setup of it because at the end of the day, every game ends in a buzzer beater. So it's like even if you have a blowout and a team, because I think it's going to 50. I think
Yeah.
even if you have like 48 and the next team has like 21, you still playing hard that last possession because you don't want that guy to score that 58 point.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's more than like when the clock running down, like how the NBA is sometimes when you have a blow, fellas holding the ball, dribbling at half court. Fellas ain't playing no D, no O because they saying, oh well, we done up by 20, we done up by 10. You got about 30 seconds left, just dribble the ball out. Ain't none of that in big three. It's like you could be down by 10, but until you hit the final shot, we playing. And
Yep.
then like I said, you had some surprise guys. Boy, Jared Jack was a bucket. I
He
can
put
be
on a
real.
show.
Jared
He
Jack was
put
a
on a show.
bucket last week and this week. And I was like,
He put on a
where
show, man.
was this, my guy?
He
Where
put on
was
a show.
this in Indiana, bro? I mean, you was nice. You was a good conservative point guard, but you
Right.
wasn't no pull up in your face,
Yeah, that's the
step
thing.
back three. I
He
was
was
like,
always
who is this
that
guy?
safe point guard. He was always a
Yeah.
safe player. He didn't give no
Yeah.
turnovers, but he didn't give 20 points out of that.
Every once in a while, he bust out for like a little 25, 30, but you never saw it really at the NBA level, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Jones.
Only if they
Yeah,
also
Kevin
on
would,
COB
Kevin
court.
would, there for real, though. Shout out Kevin. He
Yeah,
out
but
there
on
for real.
COB court, dog is top three for true.
But like I say, I think I said this a little the last week we was there too. I truly believe I get on that court, I can score 6 points. Now I can't stop nobody, but I can get on there, I can score 60. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
And
like you say, you know what I mean. The guys are older, you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, I do like how Ice Cube sort of, put those rules in place to try and make it a little bit more
Yeah.
competitive.
And then they have the
You know what I
4 point
mean?
ball.
They got the 4 point ball. They got the
And
14
then
second shot clock.
the
You
foul,
know
you
what I
only
mean?
get one shot, but it's worth whatever
But
shot you
we're
was
two.
taking.
You know
So
what I
if you was
mean?
taking a tree or something like that, you only have one time. Like in a way that does make sense. I can be real. Nobody want to see you stand up there and take three free throws.
it makes the game
Especially
faster.
guys like Giannis them who gotta take
Yeah.
15 seconds to dribble
Mhm.
before they shoot.
Yeah.
So
So
let him miss the
yeah,
one time and let's go.
yep,
So in a sense, I think his idea was to even try and get rid of the free throw entirely. So you got one shot instead of two, and then you
yeah,
get the
A
what's it called?
one-on-one thing,
The
eh?
one-on-one
What it
thing,
is, heat time or foul
fire
time
yeah.
something.
or
The 1-on-one
yeah,
thing.
But
Yep,
that was pretty
but you
nice.
get that instead of a free throw, and that was really good. So
yeah. I felt as if he did a
Slimmy
good
got
job in
jokes.
terms of like that boy got hawk. Yeah, but
he
he's
threw
a
one
different
elbow.
level hawker. But
He's
and
hack on offense.
he acting like he ain't fought it. No what?
He's hack on
Yeah,
offense. Dude throw one elbow in the male face, and man,
But yeah, I like the rules that Ice Cube put in place. I really feel as if he tried to do a good job of like just speeding the game up because it's half court. Dudes could just get lethargic and just pass the ball around and But
right.
I think he just tried to make the game more exciting, speed it up. Obviously, you ain't gonna see no dunks, right? These dudes barely want to get off the ground, right? But it's some flashes of skill. You saw, Joe Johnson give you a little turnaround jumper. You know what I mean? Fargo was
Mhm.
hitting his shots. Of course, Jack, we already talked about him. He was absolutely killing. And then
And then
that
you get
championship game, which
the younger players that Ice Cube brought in too, like Kevin Murphy and
Bristol,
Boy, I don't know
Driscoll
where
and
Kevin Murphy come from, boy. Would you
I
surprise me?
boy,
While
Murphy,
I was
boy,
watching them play, I had to go
he
on
can go,
Google.
boy.
I said,
yeah,
hold on
He can
now.
go.
I had to go on YouTube
Who's
to see him
Kevin
do
Murphy?
this.
He could go, boy. He could go.
I
Honestly,
do it.
he nice. He
Yeah,
nice.
he's smooth too, but his
Yeah.
game's so smooth.
But
Hey, I must say, that is a good setup. It was a good thing. Boy, listen, if I had some money, I'd throw a Bahamian big tree. My money be Furley, Prime Chameleon, and Abel.
Get
I
Brian
asked really,
Chameleon for
It gotta be
I
Prime
asked really
Chameleon.
why he
Now.
was a
No
player.
disrespect
I
to
just thought
Chameleon,
really
that's my
about that.
boy. But I can be real. It'd have to be Prime Chameleon. It can't be now Chameleon. But
If
big.
pretty able and could be there for real. Give me them treat.
No, that's my tree. Get your own team, bro.
No, sir. I
Hey,
gotta
if y'all want to see that,
You can't just
listen,
say you gotta draft.
if y'all
You
want to
can't
see
just
that,
say-
y'all could go and sponsor the experts, and every dollar we make, we'll start a GoFundMe. Every dollar we make will go towards renting the ballroom and having a big tree, a Bahamian big tree. Send it around, we doing it. Now, it might make, if we can't make the ballroom, we gotta go in a public park. I know.
We
Y'all
go Malcolm Park.
Malcolm. We
We
go
go Malcolm
Malcolm.
Park.
We have a Bahamian big tree.
I close enough to be all right.
Sponsors are available.
But yeah, man, I think the
Proud
atmosphere was
Canadian.
great too, though. They get a good little crowd to come out there. You know what I mean? So it's good to see the Bahamians supported. With international events, you need that, but you know what I mean. So
Mm.
hopefully, when Bal for Lana's pop back up, and we get the next one, the ladies one in at Bahama should be coming at the same time.
They
That
We get
having
the same support
that's a
for that.
lady. They having a co-ed one this year. They having they slimmy on it tonight. But they having
that that gonna be hype, bro. That
female
Bahama
and
one.
male.
The ladies one, right? The Bahama one, the co-ed
Yeah,
one.
but
Yeah,
it's ladies and males this year. The
yeah.
first time we
That
covered it last year. Not last year. We covered the one
yeah
the year
before,
before,
yeah before last.
the Bahama Fest, and it was strictly females, and they had a time. They had a good time. It was well organized. It was well put together, and I felt like that's what led to this one. And I keep in touch with the guys who organize it, so when that come up, we can try get some
Yeah,
good
we could
coverage
be
of
there.
that for you guys. We might even go
And like
live
yeah,
if our producer would allow us.
yeah. Like I said, we got a couple of clips we can probably post. But you know, like being there, honestly, I think it's an experience for all ball fans, all sports fans. Just be there and see it. Like even the game yesterday, coming down to the wire, you know what I mean? Jar jacket the game winner, and you could see the emotion. Them celebrating Rashad Lewis on the losing
Mm-hmm.
team walking straight off the court. I mean, I know he walking off the court mad for. He's the one who cost them lose. But
He really do much, I mean. Uh,
uh,
and he
yeah,
scored
so
what, 2 points.
hey, he's putting Jar Jack on him. He can score in the post. So come on, Lee. You having fun. But anyway, it was a great game, great experience, and like I say, for all sports fans, I encourage y'all next time y'all have a chance, and of course, we'll be on it to let y'all know what's the deal with that. You know, just watch it, man. Just watch it. Pay for a
Yeah,
ticket. Tickets is only $30. Go through, come through with your antigen test or your vaccinated card, and just enjoy a good experience, bro. Just enjoy a good experience.
real. And to all our audience out there, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys make this a regular Sunday evening. Oh, football start, boy. But we might have to change our days. We have some competition starting next Sunday. But just to let you guys know, we back every week now. We did about what an hour and a half tonight, but you guys were tuned in. We're reading your comments, we're answering. Also, we have sponsorship available. You could email the solid pods at email the solid242 at gmail.com. Also, you could check us out on SoundCloud, Facebook, YouTube, all the major, even on Twitter. Y'all could rant with Sans on Twitter, talking
I
with
always run.
Mello,
I always run.
Mello
So
and
y'all can run
Westbrook.
with me.
Hey, that sounds like a good feature right there. Round with
Yeah,
sides.
Rant
yeah,
with
y'all can always
Sans,
run with
boy.
me. I
Rant with
always run.
Sans.
Let me be right there too.
Uh,
So y'all
yeah.
can always run with me. But yeah,
Shout out to some of our day ones. Slimmy, Timmy, Odon.
OD.
hold
Shout out to
on,
We
OD.
got
OD.
Listen,
Shout out
hold
OD.
on. For the future, let's keep the CP3 disrespect to a minimum, eh? Just bring that down a bit. Eh?
Hey, talk your stuff, boy, Odon. Talk your stuff.
Shout out OD. But yeah, gents, it was a good episode. We look forward to seeing you guys next week, Sunday. And, you know, just take care of it. We out, the experts.